Back again with another YouTube video. It's your boy Uriah G. Today we're gonna react to Music Isn't Dead. The Game is Rigged. I'm gonna make sure I put the link in the description in the link. Let's get right into the video.
Why isn't music selling as well?
Should be trash. I think.
There's been some albums that sold well.
Mhm.
Kendrick did what, about
Tyler?
60s second year. Tyler
But we
did.
talking
Tyler's
about-
been cooking.
These
Yeah.
are artists who really push the envelope in making projects.
Majority
Everyone
of the
else-
field are
Yeah.
making songs to get put on playlists to last for a couple weeks, and then coming back doing it again.
You're not crazy. You feel it, don't you? That nagging sense that something in music is broken. You look back at the icons, the artists who defined generations, and then you look at what the industry is feeding you today.
Yeah, and what they're feeding us is they push the artists and they market anybody. But there's talented artists out there, whether they're independent or not. But then you have the ones that get put in the spot, but they're getting pushed because they're signed. And you know, once you sign, you're gonna get that push. So yeah.
Flavors of the month, the TikTok trends that are here today and forgotten by tomorrow. And you have to ask the question, how did we get from artists who defined a decade to artists who can barely define a week? What broke? You're about to find out in this video. This isn't a story about music getting worse. This is a story about the factory that runs the music business and how that factory's business model changed from building artists to strip mining them.
How do you feel about the state of like music though, overall?
Right now, at this very moment, I'm a little bit bored right now.
I think it's like super watered down, like
Yeah.
to the point where I get in the car, I don't even know what to listen
Yes.
to, and I think that's why.
And that's why we literally just said, and that's why. But when it comes to music, I don't really depend on the radio. I just use Apple Music, and you can listen to whatever artist you want without having to worry about what's being played
Rap
from like a radio.
is kind of like fading a little bit because back then everybody had their own sound, but I don't think that's the case now. Everybody's trying to make their radio hit, and it's a recipe, and they try to follow it.
And like the lack of creative control, you know, certain labels, they might not let the artists, you know, make that type of music. That's not the image they're going for or sound.
To understand how we got to this point today, you have to understand the old system. Once upon a time, record labels were not only gatekeepers, they were investors. They were in the artist development business. This was a high-risk, high-cost gamble because when a label signed a new act, they were on the hook for everything. Studio time, marketing, tour support, music videos. They were betting millions that in 5 years, that artist would be a superstar.
You made $1, but you spent $2 to make that dollar. So you owe somebody $1. So
Yeah, I guess what he's about to get into, I believe this is a music artist, old school artist. I don't want to say his name because then I'm going to get it wrong, but I know it's like either someone from the 80s. But is it Dougie Fresh? Is that Dougie Fresh? I think that's Dougie Fresh. Let me know if that's Dougie Fresh. I could be wrong. But I don't want to say that's Dougie Fresh and then be wrong. So, let's continue.
you might make the decision, I want to fly first class. Hey, I want to shoot a $50,000 video instead of $25,000 video, or a $200,000 video instead of a $50,000 video.
But yeah, like I guess he's breaking down pretty much, you know, how the industry works with like business, and you know, you put in bread, and then you know, you either make some in the return, or you have to put in more than what the label is helping you with. I don't know, I could be wrong.
These are all choices that are made constantly.
Because the investment was so high, the product had to have integrity. It had to last. This required an A&R, an artist and repertoire executive. This person was the bridge between raw talent and the industry. Think of Dr. Dre mentoring Eminem or Jermaine Dupri grooming Bow Wow. They spent years refining the sound, the image, the skill. Yes, the labels were in control, but that control came with an investment. They were building long-term profitable assets. The factory back then was only built to make durable goods. The model was clear. Artist development was the only path to profit.
Why did Atlantic basically tell YoungBoy,
listen, after 22 albums that you dropped in a time period where we only contracted you to do 5, we'll negotiate and give you this amount of money, but we ain't giving you a mother party of masters.
So I'm guessing pretty much, you know how certain artists, certain labels, they slave their artists, they make them drop a lot of music. I'm guessing that's what he's getting into. Certain labels, they make you release a lot of music because that's part of this negotiation, the contract. Not all contracts are like that. If you're part of an independent label or something, I don't think you're gonna have to drop that many albums.
These are real things. What does that mean? When YoungBoy started, he's 17, he's 22 now. You don't understand what's going on? He's just putting out music.
If you look at the guys now, that's probably big right now with social media. I just seen they had NBA YoungBoy. He's the biggest YouTube influencer for his music. He did a deal for $2 million for 5 records. So think about that. You got the money up front, but imagine what they did.
Then, around 2015, the system broke. Streaming didn't just change how we listen, it changed how the factory finds its product. The A&R's gut feeling was rendered obsolete. It was replaced by a cold, hard spreadsheet of streaming data. Why gamble millions on a hunch when you can just log into SoundCloud and see which song already has 10 million plays? The entire business model flipped on its head. Labels stopped making hits. They started acquiring them. This new model was brutal, efficient, and required zero development. It is called trend acquisition. While the old system could be referred to as farming, the new system is more along the lines of industrial mining. Labels no longer launched careers. Instead, they demand you build one on your own. As writer Ted Gioia put it, labels lost their ability to create stars, so they demanded musicians do it for them on social media.
Yeah, so pretty much this time around in this day of age, marketing, promotion, that's the main resource and tool to use as far as pushing your music. You don't necessarily need a label to get your music skyrocketed and, you know, views and analytics and then the algorithm. You know, you can promote yourself too, but most of the time certain labels, I'm pretty sure it's probably in the contract, they push your, you know, your brand, and they push the marketing and promotion.
Only after you prove you can go viral, only after you've built your own buzz, will they swoop in. And they swoop in with a 360 deal, a contract that gives them a piece of everything. Your streams, your tours, your merch. They pour gas on the fire of the one hit you already created, squeeze every last penny out of it, and when the trend dies, you're forgotten.
Everybody gets paid, but the artist. And the artist is cool with that because that's the commercial for them to go make their money selling their merch, which is their t-shirts, and make their money from their show. Now...
Yep, most of the money goes to the... I'm not gonna just say the label, but you make your money mostly from merch, touring, interviews. It's not so much the streaming, the plays. It's more of touring, marketing. I'm not marketing, but like, you know, merchandise and stuff like that.
You can't own your ass on the road and your clothes, and also every time you make money from endorsement. So you actually telling someone to give up their...
Dang, and they keep probably half of the percentage with the endorsements you make. That's what he said. The endorsements, the deals. So you take a deal from an endorsement or brand, and I'm guessing they're more in control of it than you are, and maybe they have access to more of the money. I mean, they're just in control of it. You know what I'm saying? If you're independent, you have your masters, you have your, you know, royalties, but I guess, you know, contract and boom.
The whole entire behind 360 degrees of your ass pause away just because of a trick. And now you got to ask a person, or you have to say things like the label lets me do this and that. Like when you say, somebody can never say, an artist is signed to me. That doesn't sound correct to me.
The data-driven industry doesn't care about your artistic vision. It only cares about your immediate virality.
These artists are on these streaming forms. They are on these streaming platforms. Even from a guy like a J. Cole that say how many artists got streams from these bots. They not as hot as they seem. Well, J. Cole is a part of that system as well, and he don't even know it. The major labels are running these streaming forms. They're running these streaming numbers. They're running these setups. All right? We in a major industry, and that industry is ran by a machine.
Famous actor. He's a famous actor that passed away, I think, a couple years ago.
This shit the Matrix.
But what happens when the new currency, the data itself, is a lie? The moment streams became the measure of success, the incentive to counterfeit those streams was born. We are now in the era of streaming farms, shadowy operations that use bots to artificially inflate an artist's numbers, creating an illusion.
Streaming bots, inflating numbers, faking streams. All you have to do, well, I don't do it, but that's literally what he's explaining is the labels. I guess they pay for, you know, the numbers for the streams.
Illusion of success. And the major labels, the streaming services, they seem to be turning a blind eye or seem to be the drivers of the shenanigans. The allegations are explosive. A class action lawsuit filed by Snoop Dogg's cousin, rapper RBX, claims a substantial portion of Drake's 122 billion Spotify streams were generated by bots.
This person, who was actually Snoop Dogg's cousin, is suing Spotify because Drake has been getting billions of fake streams, all right? So our company has
bots and payola to boost Kendrick Lamar's diss track, Not Like Us.
The heated feud between two popular rappers is now turning into a legal battle. Drake has filed a lawsuit against Universal Music Group, or UMG, claiming it falsely inflated the popularity of Kendrick Lamar's song, Not Like Us. Lamar released the single back in May as a diss track against Drake. According to Spotify, the song has more than 900 million streams, but Drake's suit argues that
Y'all comment down between both artists. Which artist do you guys enjoy more? I'm not gonna say who I enjoy more. Y'all can just check out my older videos. There's your hint there. But yeah, let's continue.
UMG used bots and launched a pay-to-play scheme to increase those numbers and make the song go viral. UMG denies the claims. It's also worth noting Drake is currently represented by Republic Records, which is a division of UMG.
You can't do the crime with them for years and then get mad when somebody else benefit from it more than you. Whether you...
Would a label or an artist bot their streams? There are two main reasons I can think about. One, to create the illusion of movement. Let's look at the case of Doechii. In 2024, the industry was telling you she was the next big thing.
And they labeled her an industry plant. But, I mean, I've heard that she's been making music, you know, for way before she went to the Grammys, way before she won the award, dropped her album. She's been putting out music for a while. So you really can't really label anyone an industry plant. And if they're getting pushed by the industry, I mean, isn't that what their job is? I mean, you're signed to a label. I mean, their job is to push you. That's what they do.
She performed at the Grammys and won an award for Best Rap Album on the same night. She was on magazine covers and her Spotify numbers were astronomical, peaking at 59 million monthly listeners. But when her debut project, Alligator Bites Never Heal, actually dropped, it sold around 11,000 copies in its first week.
Dang! It sold at around 11,000 copies. So, pretty much she was supposed to do more numbers than that.
Week. How is this possible? How does an artist with 59 million listeners fail to sell over 11,000 units? The math.
Well, I don't really know, but like I said, man, that was Music Isn't Dead. The Game Is Rigged, Part 1. If y'all want to see a Part 2, let me know. Got more videos coming. Stay tuned. Subscribe, like, comment. And yeah, Uriah out.